Yo, it's Rob here from Shonen Showdown. Today, I'm joined with Kumar and Perry, and we will be ranking the best characters in Frieren. Now, guys, if you have not seen Frieren, click off the video, go watch Frieren all the way through, and then come back to the video because there will be heavy spoilers. Let's get right into it.
So for this tier list, we are going to be judging them as characters. So their likability, of course, we're going to take into account their power. This wouldn't be a Shonen Showdown show without that. As well as their motives and their plot line. So we take all of that into account, and a lot of them, it's still hidden. So we're going to try to go with what we intuitively believe they're going with that character. If we feel like they're building them up, then we might value them higher or lower.
All right, let's get right into the tier list. First up, we have Aura. Now, this is probably one of the better villains, but we do know that Aura met her match with Frieren. Nobody in the show wants to box with Frieren. How you guys feeling?
I like how they built her up in the little arc, the demon, like the village demon
Let's
arc.
just talk about the demons first.
Okay.
Just because something that's special about how Frieren wrote these demons is the way that they have absolutely no empathy or sympathy. They're the equivalent of psychopaths.
Or sociopaths, right? Because they have no, like, it's not like they're psychotic. They're just like, kill all humans. Like, we don't care about humans, you know? Like, we're the higher physical beings, you know? Like, you guys are below us.
See, but that's the thing is, like, compared to other demon stories where they show demons and they show the ability, they show the power, they show how they are criticizing and they hate on anyone beneath them. These characters do all that as demons, but the extra level is that they literally can't empathize. So they will act as humans do to gain human sympathy because it is advantageous to them, but they don't truly understand why they are acting in that behavior other than to creep into human lines. And you want to have sympathy because they look human, they act human, but they clearly show that they don't give any F's about any human because they're there to eat them.
What's interesting about that is that the demons looked at mana as a way humans valued, wealth or status. Like their mana was really what
the hierarchy
they
and, like,
cared
social
about.
Standing, yeah.
Which is interesting. That plays into Aura's character because her technique is really you have lower mana than me.
Yeah,
you're getting stomped on. That's it. You become one of my slaves. Too bad she ran into Frieren, so she's a calm seat. And let me stop. Let's put her.
I like how
her...
they built her up to be like this big baddie, but like you said, Frieren was not a thing. She would pretty much be like, running the show, right?
Well, that's the thing to consider too, is like if she had Frieren's time, the amount of time, she might even have more power than Frieren.
True.
We should probably put her in A tier then.
I agree. Let's start with that.
I agree with that, yeah.
And also how she went out, like you were
Aura's
saying
A
earlier,
tier.
was so cold, and it was so beautiful how cold it was.
Yeah.
So like that kind of adds to her character, I think, just because it takes someone who has that development to get killed in that manner.
She got humbled bad.
That was so worth it. Ugh.
Next up, we have Blade.
So Blade was one of the mages in the second or third magic first class mage trials. I think he gets clapped off screen, but we didn't really get a lot
Yeah, he never showed up
of
at
him.
the end.
No, I mean, yeah, he never made it out of the tomb.
Damn.
So I'm assuming because he gave.
Yeah, he was protecting Dunst from Sense.
We didn't see, like, when they're having their cute promenade around the village, like, we
He
never
wasn't.
saw
Yeah,
him
we never
again.
saw him. He was
So
only in the tomb.
tell them that this doesn't
He was
work
moving-
either, because,
Yeah.
like, they were partnered with Adal, I believe.
I give him D tier. You know what I mean? Like he was, he can't be past C for me. Now, this one is a personal favorite. Denken is such a fire character, okay? Because even his dynamic with his group, right? He's kind of looked at as the grandpa of the group. Some people view him as being grumpy, but I don't think he's any of those things. I think he's somebody that clearly has seen enough and experienced enough to understand what it takes to not only win, but to even show respect. What I really loved about him is even though he felt he was very, very powerful, he knew that when it comes to Frieren, you can't box with her.
And that's the reason why Serie passed him in the last trial when she was gauging if, like, she was basically you pass, you fail just by looking at them and sensing them. She knew that even though he's a lot older than the rest of the test takers, she could tell he still has that fire in him, like to want to get better, to want to be the best he can be, even though he's old, and he still wants to, like, show out and fight when it comes to having the good fights.
Past the northern border, you have to be a first-class mage. And the
You have to be
city
first
that
class,
the grave is in.
Oh,
Past the
so he
border.
couldn't even see her
He
until
couldn't
then.
see her, so That's why he
that,
went
that
to
was the
get the
thing.
ring.
He had to become a first class
crazy.
mage just so he can even get
The
to
Great
it.
Garden.
Right. You gotta throw
Easy
Duncan
S.
in S tier,
Easy.
100%.
Easy S.
Next up we have Berg.
That's the guy that just got diced.
Yeah, he got decapitated. He got bisected by Ubel. Put that guy in F, bro. No, wait.
You got.
He was a proctor.
What? Wait
No,
for
he
what?
was a proctor, and no one could pass his test until Ubel. So that
He
speaks
was-
more on Ubel as
He
a
had
character.
super impenetrable defense.
Yeah.
State of the art impenetrable defense. So like he's not F. It's just that he had a terrible matchup.
Yo, to me, he's F. Even though Ubel is very, very powerful, I mean, I would at least expect the highest defensive mage, quote unquote, in the series to at least be like, oh, you cut me, like, ouch, okay, you're really nice, I'll pass you.
Nah,
Like,
he got
he didn't
killed.
make it out.
You're kind of
Nah,
right.
yo, what?
Dude was actually so
Get
cocky
Berg.
to frame the test that way, because otherwise he could have been like, this is a dummy that I put a bunch of protection on, try to break through that, but instead he put himself in line because he was that confident, and if you're gonna be that confident in defense, like you said, you gotta back it up, and
Next up, Dunst.
he played a key role.
He played a key role,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
even though he did not,
I would kind of give him kind of where the other guy is.
yeah, his teammate.
Yo, you give
What was
Dunst
his
D tier?
ability?
We didn't really
I-
see his magic because he got injured. So
He did get injured and he was running. And then,
Siri
yeah,
did
Blaze
fail him,
sacrificed
though, right?
himself.
Siri failed him. He made it.
I
past
believe
the
so.
second
I
test.
believe
He wasn't
so.
one of the ones that passed. But
Yeah.
know what? I almost want to move him to E tier though, because like the reason he passed the first test is because the person on their team could control minds. He's probably a good mage, but he got lucky with his teammates. And, like unique ability.
E tier, we drop. Oh man! All right, let's drop him
there's no
down.
unique ability.
Let's drop him down. Okay. All right. Next up, we have Drat.
Who's this one again?
Yeah, exactly. F tier. Get him out of here.
I don't
That's
remember
exactly
this
who it
character.
is. Huh? No, he was the one that tried to test Frieren in the prison.
that was one of the minions of that was one of
Oh,
the
yeah.
minions. Oh yeah,
He
Yes.
had the string
Yeah,
around
yeah,
her neck.
Lugner.
Yeah, the string magic, yeah.
Yeah. Like what? Yo, it's Frieren. What are you trying to do? You know what I'm saying?
He was
really-
just like the baseline fodder to be like, okay, I have this power, I can kill humans easily, but when I have actual competition, like Frieren, it was like a one shot.
Right.
He was a cocky.
Right.
He was pretty
'Cause-
cocky.
Yeah, he was F tier. F tier.
Yeah, even Lugner was like, "Oh, this man what's wrong with him?" Like, you know, like he's gone. They sensed
And then he
immediately.
got
Oh,
her
his mana
framed
disappeared.
on top of like
Oh, yeah,
Yoshikyo.
yeah.
I believe this is our first Golem Buster, Adal, bringing out the Golem in the dungeon.
She got injured because she was trying to see if she could mind control the clones in the second first class
Well,
mage test.
So she doesn't have physical prowess, but
Yeah.
someone who can mind control others.
I mean, it's pretty strong.
That's pretty OP. Like if she could have actually mind controlled the clones, she would have been the whole pivotal point of their attack.
But I don't recall her doing anything in the first trial.
If I were to guess how their group secured a bird, I feel like she would have just mind controlled another group and been like handed over.
All right, so that's D tier, right, Barry?
And then Eri.
Yeah. Yep. Next we have Edie.
Oh, she tried to box with Fern.
Edie is she's actually a good mage to me. I think that it highlighted more how powerful Fern was because Fern is a prodigy. Yeah, the way Frieren talks about Fern, we'll get to that later. I don't think Edie really expected that.
So I think her and Fern, I think they are the same in terms of ability. I think the difference is the teachers that they had. And having Frieren teach her, like, you have to be a master at the basics. Isn't that true in, like, fights, too?
What's that phrase like? Don't be afraid of the person that knows 1,000 kicks but has practiced one kick 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
She's powerful for sure. And with Fern, she was even like, you fight like my grandma.
But see, Fern kept that pressure on her because Fern was just throwing the attacks nonstop, and she was like, "Wait a minute, like my defenses, I can't block for this long." It was like, "Yep, you know what it is." I mean, I'll give her a C. C is comfortable. Next up, we have Eisen, and one of the first from the OG group.
But it was an incident. So basically, he was training with Stark, and Stark was gonna go make a move, and he felt like if I get hit with this, he was gonna go out like Berg did. And so he actually had to fight back and ended up actually injuring Stark in the process. And Stark was probably taken aback, like, why would my teacher
Oh,
try
that's
to
right.
hurt
Why
me?
did he
But
hurt
it's
me?
because he, like, it was probably just instinct, like, oh my god, if I don't fight back now, this could be.
This kid's gonna kill me.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll say about Eisen, man. I think out of the original group, the original four, Himel's party, I think Eisen was probably like on like the lower side, but I still really did love his
him
character.
too, because besides that spiel I just gave, he was always scared to fight, and yet he landed the heaviest blows.
Yeah, he was like their frontline like warrior in terms of
He
like,
was their
fighting.
tank, I'm
Yeah, he was their
guessing.
tank. Yeah, for sure.
You nailed it right on the head. It was the scene where Stark was shaking and he was showing that he had a lot of fear, and then they called back to the scene where Eisen was like, it's good to have fear as a warrior.
Oh, and then he also gave the great advice too. You only lose when you don't stand up. And so Stark was like, I have to keep standing up because my master told. And then when he was fighting that one demon, the demon's like, why do you keep getting up? He's like, my master told me if I don't, like, that's the end.
I would give
Good idea.
Eisen A.
I would give him A tier.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
All right, next we have Falsch.
He's one of Serie's like employees or whatever, right?
Don't know too much.
Like helping
I don't
the
even
test.
remember
Yeah, he
from
was
the
just
manga.
like.
Oh, he was the one that read the rules, right?
Yeah,
like,
basically,
Oh,
he
this
was
is
just-
how the test is gonna
yeah.
work out. Here's how you're grouped.
He's just a point
we don't know
Dexter.
anything about him. I don't know F. Okay. That's true. F deserves to be an F.
Now we got Fern. Yo, Fern is... Oh my gosh, Fern is such a roller coaster of a character, because 1 minute Fern's happy, the next minute she wakes up mad. Stark is like, yo, I don't know what's going on. But we do love Fern though. Like, her potential as a mage, as I said earlier, is through the roof. Even the way Frieren talks about Fern, it really makes Fern look like she's a second coming of Flamme. Like, she's going to be on that tier. Her mana's out of this world. She's been trained the fundamentals since she was literally almost a baby, damn near. So I think Fern is somebody we got to put in S tier.
She even goes to Stark. She's like, "Did you train today?" And he's like,
Speaking of Flamme is up next.
She's S tier.
Yeah,
she's S tier.
All right, y'all said it for me.
Passed down so long in their history that some people think of her as a myth.
Yeah.
And her whole technique for fighting demons, something that anybody who's very powerful and cocky would never think to subvert their ability in front of others. But she knew that was the way to defeat demons, and the ability to be that humble to come up with that kind of strategy.
And even though she hates her favorite spell, we see the effect it had on Frieren, right? So clearly, she was doing something right as a legendary mage. Next up, we got the GOAT, Frieren.
I love her fights. I love her personality.
You love everything. Sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, like, Frieren does get me tight at some points in the story, but...
Like when?
All right, so if they're going to a new town, right? Something happens where they're saying, well, you know what, Frieren? I mean, you might have to stay here for like 14 years or something. She's like, oh, okay, bet. I'm like, have some type of like awareness that you're traveling with humans. Like, Fern can't wait till she's 85 to leave the village. You know what I mean? And I feel like Frieren just has no concept of like time sometimes. You know what I mean?
Well,
But
I mean, that's
I
kind
feel
of the
like
beauty of her character, though.
well, yeah,
Totally
but
reminded
she's still S, Parry. I didn't say she's not S.
No,
I'm
no,
just
but
saying, like,
that's
there's times where I'm like,
the same reason that
Yeah.
she gets people like, come on, we got to pace the story, we got to keep it moving. But that's also like, it's the symptom of her ability to live that long, and the only time she's reminded about the time difference is when she encounters like power difference. But she also had to get taught a lot by Himmel, because she was also at some point not sympathetic.
That's
Because
true.
when she was fighting some of those soldiers before, she was not being too kind to their bodies, and then here she was just kind of disabling their spells.
Yeah.
No, so we could talk all about Frieren all day, but
Yeah.
she's amazing.
next we have Ganat.
He was the leader of pretty much the head of the village that was getting terrorized by auras. I thought he was a little too strict. Like,
Uptight.
He
He
was
was
very
kinda uptight.
uptight in the beginning, but once he came to see what Frieren could do, he had to be like, "Yo, can you take care of these
And
demons for me?"
that's the beauty of the story, is like the fact that demons pull the same shit over and over and over, but humans have such short timelines that they don't believe the stories that the demons are trying to trick you. And so he was one of the people that were like, "No, I'm trying to make peace with them."
I will say though, once he found out that demons will never change, he stood on business. He's like, he grabbed that sword quick and was like, "Nah, f that." Like,
Yeah. So these demons are always gonna like fool the humans.
But we have to remember, Flamme was the one that she taught Frieren about the dangers of demons, and we got to see the whole flashback. You know, like, demons are literally just learning human language just so they can finesse them. Like, they don't have any type of feelings whatsoever. I think Ganat's our first B tier, personally.
What's the difference between putting him in B then?
He locked up our girl.
Do you agree with that, Rob? Do you
And
think
when
we-
Stark tried to save him, he was like, "You shouldn't talk to me like that." But it's like, dude, this guy's saving you right now. Like,
Is that enough for
like
C
I
though?
get that that could be played off as like that's his way of joking, but I don't know.
You know what? Let's run with the C. Next we have Genau, who was one of the proctors.
It was like Frieren who?
Yeah, you know who's in there? Are you crazy? Yeah, F tier.
If anything, if you're around Sense all the time and you can't notice that Sense does that, and you see another elf and you just don't think that maybe they're doing that too, that's on you. Like,
That was a pretty big hater though.
He
The
was such
first
a
the first
hater.
trial.
I mean, we don't know how
Yeah, we
powerful
don't
he
know.
is though.
well, the fact that he's judging people based on their magical ability that they're portraying, and the fact that he thinks that there's things that people can't beat, like the barrier, I think he overestimates his ability and other people's ability. But the barrier was created by Serie.
Yeah.
So that's my. I think if anything, like maybe.
So where would you put him?
Maybe C tier too. C D.
Put him
I'll
in
say
that.
D. I was gonna put him in E, respectfully. Gorilla.
So we've only seen this character in flashbacks, and we still don't know if he's even alive at this point in the show.
But he has a standout name
yeah.
and wants to be a hero.
Yes.
Because Sein is looking for
Yep.
him, and that's the reason we even know of this character.
Honestly, but the way it's looking right now, it's like he's aiming to be like Himmel 2.0. Like that's really what it's looking like.
Because it's been some time since he set off on that journey, and Sein doesn't know where
And the
he
thing
is.
too
and,
is
like,
like,
you know,
he doesn't have like Stark is gonna be Himmel 2.0 because he has the genetic background.
I think that'd be crazy because he's separated from the group to find out that his friend's dead after all these. I don't know. I hope not.
If they're gonna, I actually haven't. I don't recall much
manga.
more in the manga, but I feel like Gorilla probably got far, and Sein will follow that trail, and then eventually.
Or maybe he got to a point where he's just like, damn, I gotta give up my dream of warrior because I don't.
Because it's
measure
like
up.
to beat the upcoming villains that we have already started to see, like the amount of power some of the northern area has in the demons. Like Gorilla's got to be pretty strong solo.
What are we saying for Gorilla?
See, I don't mind him.
See, that's so high. See,
Okay, I like.
Oh
characters.
dang, that's high, Kumar.
that's high. We know
Where
nothing
are you
about
gonna
this
put him?
guy.
Where are you gonna put him?
I was gonna put him like D or E.
Yo, y'all, that's it. That's literally his goal. His goal is E tier. Is crazy. All right, but let's do that though. Let's do D. Let's do D then. Let's do D. That's crazy though. All right, next we have Heiter. I love his character though. Just seeing his character development.
He was laying down some like ways to live type advice.
There's also scenes where he's drunk while they're all fighting and they're carrying
is
him,
true.
which is funny.
I think he had the greatest character development in the series.
I could agree with that.
Yeah,
kinda.
so
From
far.
going from a guy that was, because he also thought like I have more mana than Frieren when they first found her.
It's an S tier play, man. S tier play. Female is definitely like the character. Like Frieren does not become Frieren.
He was the protagonist before our protagonist.
And he was so good that it makes you wish you could relive his story, and in doing this journey you do. But
And I think he is the biggest motivator for Frieren even having the journey she's having.
well, the fact that she likes weird spells, the fact that she does a lot of the habits she does,
It's because of him.
it's because of him.
It's literally everything.
10
Yeah,
years. She only had 10 years with him.
But not just on her, Parry, the world. There's statues of this man all over. And the thing about it is he was just helping people off the strength, like just to help people. Like even Frieren was like, why are we staying here? You know, Eisen and Heiter would question, what are we doing here? Like we got a demon king to go fight. Why are we? He was like, don't worry about it.
On top of that, they also like cleared the most dungeons or whatever just because he wanted to go to dungeons, be like, yo, let's
Well,
let's
the
put it work.
craziest thing about him is the whole lore behind his sword.
And he was still him.
I write my own story.
He's still
And the
killed the
village
demon king.
protected his secret because they didn't want to undermine the story of the legend that he built.
Next up, we have Kane.
She was the water mage,
She's
right?
water.
Yeah, she was water. She was like the scrappy kind of like tomboy-esque kind of character.
Taloin's more
yeah.
like stoic demeanor.
Yeah. I mean, I will say I love the tag team like dynamics
Yeah, wherever we
between.
put one, we have to put the other. Because
Yeah.
they're
Like,
they're a
Kane and
package
Laufen.
deal.
I think she's our first B
I
tier.
agree.
Honestly.
And I think you might as well move Laufen into that as well, because like they're
Yeah, Laween's they're a package deal. Yeah, absolutely.
Craft to me is like Shanks. Like you know about him, but you don't really know what he can do. But he's
That's a good
strong
way to
as
put
hell.
it.
Because clearly, since he is an elf too, Frieren knows that this guy has been around. I think even longer than Frieren, right? He's been.
yeah, he's because they kind of stumble upon this statue, and they're like, oh, we've always had this statue in the village.
And now he's just traveling, just doing his thing, just, you know, seeing the world like Frieren is.
I'll give him
A because we know he's strong, but we haven't seen his feats.
Well, he also encountered, what's her face that, like, slices and dices?
Oh, Ubel, yeah. He threw off rip like, yo, you're a problem.
Yeah,
like,
he's like, yeah, these bodies don't get hurt this way without some intention.
Yeah.
I feel like he's an S, and I think
so?
it's because
S? Oh, but
exactly, but they built up enough to be like, okay, like I feel any elf is like an S to me, just because of all the experience they must have stocked up to get to the levels that they do.
I know, but even when we did get the episodes
He helps
where he
train our boy.
Yeah, he helped train Stark. That is true, but we still don't really get a lot from his character because he's very stoic and he's very like kind of like he's a man of few words. Like he'll say what he needs to say and then like be on his way.
land.
This guy surprised the hell out of me.
Especially after what...
Especially in the third test when Serie was like, you're not even here. Like, what, like...
That was the part. But see, because Ubel was like following him around every 5 seconds, but then I don't even know. Maybe she knows.
Well, I don't know.
Maybe Ubel knows too. But we don't know.
I don't think she knows because the fact that he like the clone was there and then she's like, you're not even here, and he like pulled up with the second clone. He's like, what do you mean I'm here? And she's like, nah, you're not. You've never even stepped foot into the test.
And he's just sitting drinking his tea like however far away he is.
So I don't think, I don't think she knows.
Ubel, yeah. But I will say, because of his power, and he was able to survive as long as he did, and that he's clearly a very strategic, smart mage.
I'd give him B.
B.
I'm okay. I'm cool with that. Did he pass, right?
He
He
passed.
Yeah, he passed. He became the first person to pass. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I kind of want to put him in A.
Just because of the
Like the Serie being like, wow, you're not even here, and like you're that was pretty like that's a pretty bold thing to do to like the
test.
That is okay. Now we have Laufen. Yeah, she's super quick.
Basically a Naruto ninja. Like
she was.
You got
moving.
the chakra, which is magic, and then just ninja moves. So
she was cool.
She pretty much acts like Denken's granddaughter. that's what they said. But she's cool. I don't remember the exact weapon. I knew she was just very, very quick. Basically teleporting. Now we have learning.
He wanted to smoke with Frieren.
Wait, I forget.
He wanted to smoke with Frieren.
Could he tell that Serie had a barrier, or that she shrunk her mana?
No. He was able to detect that Frieren's mana was fluctuating.
Serie was disappointed in the fact that he's old.
He's old.
And he'll never reach.
Yeah,
his
but he
potential.
also never noticed that she was.
No,
I
think he did.
She said in her monologue that she's like, he never noticed that, and that's one other disappointing thing, because nobody really notices that. It seems like that's difficult to detect for anybody to detect that she's actually been also holding it back, because she has such an immense amount that no one would think that immense amount is.
Well, yeah, I think you're right. I don't think he could.
He couldn't tell, but he could tell with Frieren and Fern. But the fact that Fern can tell, because they built it up that he couldn't tell, but he still wanted to fight Frieren.
But she was impressed by where he's gone. It's just the fact that he's old now, so it's not as impressive because he's old. But he's still super strong. Like Serie was still giving him props.
But I agree with Parry though. I can't give him S Kumar. He's tripping. He's tripping. Like he really, like his reasoning wasn't even valid.
There's bold and there's delusional.
Yeah, that was a little bit of delusional. Yeah.
Lugner? I don't know if I botched her name.
Is she one of the little girls that like Stark are like kind of hanging out with Stark when they hit up a village? We gotta.
Oh, was she the first one to use the golem? She was the first one to use the golem because you remember she got slammed into the room.
Oh yeah.
And then Denken was.
Oh, she was gonna get crushed or something, right? Yeah.
And she was gonna get crushed by the wall, the spike wall. Yes, I remember her now. Yeah.
Doesn't really give a strong statement about it.
Oh yeah. No, that's D tier energy. They basically used her to show off the golems. Like that's tough.
But did she do anything in the first test?
I almost want to swap her and Genau, because I like now that she's there, I'm like, I don't think he should be an E.
Okay. Yes, we have Lugner here.
That's the one that went off on Fern, right? Like those two.
He was pretty much the right-hand man to Aura. He was the typical demon thinking that they're better than humans, like just there to just kill humans.
Yeah.
Like, he was playing the coin game.
He didn't make Fern sweat though. Fern was way above him.
He's there to show that Fern is a problem.
Right. I think the way he was written and the way he handled, as we spoke about earlier, where it was, hey, I had something happen with my family too. Even though he's lying, he's like, I'm a demon. I don't know what's going on, but he was just trying to find some way to trick him with his words.
It's like
that was
on your behavior.
Yeah.
So like He was very good at strategy, clearly. So I would put him.
I give him B. C or B?
C.
I'm stuck with C or B too.
I was thinking C.
You say C?
I say C.
just because he lost to Fern?
Just for the fight scene, I want to give him B, but as an actual like character, I think C.
Well, you guys are the split decision. I'm on C.
I think I want him in B because I think other characters are gonna go into A.
Lugner is in B.
Vinny, she's C. She's C for sure.
Dang, you didn't even get her life.
I will say the axe mirror match fight was probably one of the best things I've seen in the fight scene.
And because she also saw Himmel, and so she like saw like that's the strongest fighting ability. I'm gonna learn that one.
No, Eisen. Because she.
Oh yeah, Eisen. Yeah, she saw Eisen as a
yeah.
kid. It was really cool to see Stark go up against his like teacher essentially.
Right.
All right.
What was her ability?
She was a healer, but she was able to detect mana from like great distances.
Oh yeah.
Or just like sense where people were in correlation to where they're at. Like she was like a radar almost.
She's like, is something wrong with you guys?
At first, when she was first like shown in the second trial, she was kind of quiet. But as they got to like the fighting the Frieren's clone, she kind of opened up more with like her abilities and like she started talking more. I don't think she's higher than a C though. I think she's a C or below.
I would agree with that.
I mean, it's literally in her name. So.
But no, I'd say C.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Ordon.
Is this Stark's dad or brother? No.
Is it his brother?
Is it? No, he has an eye patch, so maybe it's his dad.
Oh, is this the guy that was like, I need a son?
Oh wait, yeah, no, it's him. Yeah.
Nah, this dude's a wild guy. If your son dies in battle, you don't try to find a random dude off the street and, yo, you look like him, I'll pay you to what? I don't know what he was on. Yeah, that's F, honestly. I mean, I think it was cool that he was able to help them out financially because, you know, Frieren and Fern and everybody, they were struggling, they needed the money. So that was cool. You know, the dance between Stark and Fern was nice. Yeah, I just thought it was wild. I mean, he just pulled up to them off the road, was like, yo, you look like my son.
I'll pay you to be my stand-in son.
Yeah, and like trained him to like act like his son. I'm like, what's happening here? Like,
Are you gonna put him an F then, Rob?
hell yeah, man. Ordon's F, man. All right, he might be E because F is like harsh. I don't think Ordon was a bad character overall. I just think that like what he was trying to do, it doesn't make sense because Stark has to leave. So like, what are you gonna do anyway? Like, eventually you're gonna have to tell the people that your son died. So it's like, what's the point in pretending? Next up, we have Qual. Yes.
He was a commander or something in the Demon King's army.
The potential of this guy to not only just be a commander, but come up with the best death-killing spell that they had to spend hundreds of years to come up with a way to block this guy's instant death ray.
Yeah.
Like, if they didn't freeze him, imagine how much more powerful he would have been.
And Frieren and the original Himmel company, or just Frieren, had to keep going to where he was sealed to reseal him because he could get out of it if they didn't strengthen the seal.
Like, yes, he was cocky enough to get sealed, but like, he had apparently a huge number of bodies behind him at that point.
Yeah.
Like, he's killed so many people. He created something that had to change the course of history.
Zoltrak.
Attack.
He's pretty intense.
He was.
And the whole point of his character that I think was fascinating was it was to show like how time can give you strength.
All right, so it sounds like we're saying A
A or
tier.
B.
A or B. I feel like if he would have been unlocked, he could have been AS. But yeah, A or B.
Next, we have Richter.
Richter kind of showed out to me. I really liked the way he used his earth magic.
He fixed the one, didn't he?
And he fixed Fern's staff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's D tier for me.
You didn't like his character, like his personality?
I think, listen, I understand him having an attitude in the beginning, but it's like, bro, the attitude was still carrying on after, like, come understand, have acceptance, you know? And I feel like he was still trying to be like the angry, mean guy, and like Denken had to pull up on him several times and be like, listen, I'm trying to show you, young blood, like, you're angry, you're being aggressive, like, this is not the way. I used to be like that. Let me help you out.
He was there to be a foil to Denken, to show like you're ruthless and young, but I'm gonna show you like there's other methods to go
You
forward.
can be compassionate. I want to put him. I mean, I'm clearly I'm not gonna win. No, I wanted to put him in B just because of how he utilized. Like, he was a smart fighter. Like, he was a strong physical fighter, but he was also very strategic in how he used his earth magic. But I do think what Robin you're saying, like, his personality is what kind of flaws him as like not being the best he could be because
he needs to go through a lot of growth.
Yeah,
He'll probably end
so-
up like again, and he'll be insanely cool. But right now, he's at that crummy stage.
Yeah. See, I agree with this.
Scharf didn't stand out to me either.
He had the cool magic where
He made a field of flowers.
no, but they were like sharp flower petals or something
Oh,
like that,
he
right?
has what's his face from Bleach.
Yakuya.
Yeah.
His magic was cool, but I do think of that team of 3 he was in with Weeble and the other
was the
girl,
weakest.
he was the weakest kind. I want to say the weakest, but like he didn't stand out to me the most.
He was the weakest for sure. 100% Kuma. E tier.
E.
I would put him in D. I'd put him in D. He's no C, but he's not. He was able to.
Oh, y'all
But
being
he
generous.
didn't really. Like, now that I'm thinking about it, he didn't really do that much. Like he was in fights, but like he was
anything.
barely holding.
He
his
got
own.
lucky with his team.
Yeah, he got lucky with his
His
team.
Eerie was like.
That's why I think he's E, because put Dunst in at E, so that's why I feel like for that same reason, you know what I mean? Now we have our priest that walked away for Gorilla, Sein.
Like I think there's still a lot to him that we need to find out, like because he knows magic. Like he was.
Well,
Pretty
they have different magic. So
Different.
priests use the book that goes
book,
to
yeah.
the goddess. And
Rebel,
so they
Goddess,
train in
right.
completely different magic. So he's talented in a way that Fern will never be, and Fern's talented in a way that he will never be.
Right.
So he's an interesting character.
He was a great mediator for the group,
Yeah.
I feel like. He was the glue guy, you know? If Fern and Stark were having an issue, go to him. I liked him. I'll give him an A tier. I thought he was a solid character. Next up, we have Sense.
I would have
That's-
put her so much higher had she not run into Ubel. And the fact that Ubel is such a big weakness for her. It's just a bad matchup, but I would have put her like AS if it wasn't for Ubel.
But she was still one of the strongest in that entire group, like in the tomb.
yeah, I think her clone killed
Sense had the
Sense.
exactly the sense to know, like, okay, this is a problem. Like this mage could beat me. Like that takes a
Yeah.
lot of self-record, like, you know.
Yeah. A. I would say A.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Serie, the most elite of the elite in magicians in the series.
I just don't like how much of a hater she is towards Frieren. She is the biggest Frieren hater.
Well, it's because she's designed in a world of chaos, like they mentioned. And so, which always kind of got me, it's like, wait, if you love fighting and chaos and having the motivation and drive, how come you never defeated the Demon King?
We still don't. I mean, we obviously know she's strong because she's the strongest, but we haven't seen her fight.
She
either.
taught Flamme also, like she has a soft side because she taught Flamme the flower.
the flower.
And Flamme taught that to Frieren.
yeah.
And the fact that she saw it again, that's probably, I think that hit her in an emotional spot that she's like, I can't give you the ability. Like, I think it means a lot to her. I think Frieren means a lot to her, but she just can't acknowledge it because that's against all of the ideals and world that she set up.
True. I mean,
Right.
yeah, she's definitely an S-tier character. I just would like more. I'm curious to see if we find out more of, like, will she warm up to Frieren as, like, she hears more of their feats as they go on their journey or whatever, you know?
I also love that the third test was centered around her and her opinions on people and her instincts. Because
Yeah.
even Frieren was like, her instincts are never wrong.
Yeah.
So, like, because I think even Frieren acknowledges that she's not actually that strong. She's diligently trained, she had a great teacher, she's been saved a couple times, and she's gotten really good companions. But Frieren, like, and Serie probably also both understand that Frieren is, like, not actually, like, a true, like, prodigy.
Right.
But Fern is.
Yeah.
Next, we got Stark.
Stark S. He's easy S.
That's our
tier.
boy!
He's the guy.
He's fighting a dragon, he's like, I thought you guys were gonna jump in!
Frieren was like, nah, you got it.
It's dead already.
Yeah, Stark's one of the best characters in the series.
He's the comedic relief. He's so funny. He's so expressive. Like, I love his personality.
He's so freaking strong.
He's a hard worker. Like, he diligently trains every day to own his skills.
Dragons are notoriously difficult. They showed that Fern struggled to beat the dragon. And then bringing him on and the dragon, like, the town was peaceful. He thought it was a fluke.
Right.
Which is the beauty of him as a character. Is like, he doesn't truly understand his own, like, strength, like, charisma, bloodlust. I love it. I love it so much.
So we got Stoltz. Yep, we have Stoltz's brother.
He didn't make it though, but he was the strongest in the village.
Yeah.
Which kind of goes to show, like, okay, if these are people, and this is their village, and they're that strong, and Stark has got to be, like, up here. He's, he's the reason Stark's alive.
Yeah, he's the reason Stark's alive. He is Stark's biggest motivator, like, to be the best he can be. But we didn't really get much other than the fact that he's like, all right, Stark, run away. We'll do the last stand bit. You know what I mean? Yeah, so B's fine. Yeah, I'm cool with B. He was he was in the first class mage trials. I just forget whose party he was in.
He sounds like an E.
can't remember, get him out of here. We have Vol next, who I'm actually a fan of. I actually like his character because not only did he, you know, obviously he's helping train Stark and everything, but I think the conversations that he had with Frieren and getting to learn, you know, that he also had somebody that he really, really cared for. It sucks now because it's a point where he couldn't really even remember the face of his wife from how many years ago.
I'd say B. I agree with you.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Okay. Verbal.
He didn't have that much time on screen, but from his short amount of time, you got that he comes from a village that's constantly attacked by monsters. He doesn't actually like killing monsters, so his true magical ability manifested into an amazing binding skill. They introduced him as like a scary guy because of his look. They're like, oh, this guy's scary, and he leads like the army to fight all these demons.
Yeah.
And so you just think he's gonna be like cold, ruthless, like pretty much evil from the get-go, and the fact that his actual personality undermines all of this because it's a true just a facade. That's why I like him.
I agree with A. Ubel, her power matches her personality too. Just being able to cut anything.
And it's because she believes she can cut anything is why she can, and she could visualize it because of
like,
her.
If she fights
flashback.
Frieren, I think she would actually have a pretty good shot. Because like to her, like the way that she diced that guy.
If Frieren's off guard, I can see that. But I feel like if Frieren's locked in, because you gotta remember, they were all in the dungeon talking about, yo, how are we gonna plan to fight Frieren's clone?
I think she definitely still has a lot of growth to do. But the fact that she can pick up abilities just by, if I understand it,
Parry?
Actually, do I want to put her in B instead?
I'm thinking like I'm struggling between A and S because she's
S?
so unique.
I want to put her in S.
Like a lot of these characters
wouldn't
are
put her
built
as
up in like a traditional building block method, and she's literally designed in the story to subvert all of them.
But I mean, yeah, I would say like Fern and 4, you know what I mean? Like, I think Fern is, you know what I mean? Like, if they boxed, you know, I'm going with Fern.
Because it's like, if I had Fern's ability, how would I fight her? That's the struggle. It's like, I don't even know how I would, if she can imagine she can beat you, you gotta imagine how do you beat her. And like the way that Sense felt, like she's like, I don't know how I would beat her.
All right, so you guys let us know down in the comment section below whether you agree or disagree with any of these placements, and please go watch Frieren. Check it out.
What's like your take on season 1 now that you finished? Like you binged it pretty much, basically.
It's an amazing show. A lot of people are calling it masterpiece right now, and I'm not mad at it. And with that, we'll see you guys next time. Peace.